So let's create our oceans in Maya and Houdini. We have several options to create oceans out of the box in Houdini and Maya. In Houdini, we go to Oceans tab. For example, let's choose Small Ocean. It takes some while. Let's zoom out. So now we have our ocean. It's already animated. So we have several nodes here for our oceans to create. So further we will explore them and change our parameters to have some similarities between our oceans in Maya and Houdini. Okay, so if you, for example, let's go to Render tab and just render in Mantra. So it's generating scene. You need to have a good graphics card. It takes a lot of resources and computations. So that's our ocean in Houdini. So let's switch to Maya. In Maya you have several options also to create oceans. So let's just use boss system. First we'll use boss system. If you don't see boss tab, you need to go to Windows, Settings, Preferences, Plugin Manager. And here under Bifrost plugin, right below, you will see boss module. You need to enable boss system, this plugin. Now we have boss here. So let's create a plane. So what is boss? It's actually basic oceans simulating system, something like that. Okay, let's scale our plane. And then let's go to the channel box. So the channel box is here, right in the upper right corner of the interface, below the icon, below the lock icon. Okay, so then just click our polyplane and change our subdivisions width. Let's just choose 300 for now, and subdivisions height also 300. Okay, so now we have our plane subdivided with a high density, high subdivisions. And then we go to boss, editor, and here we see this icon, create spectral waves. So with our plane selected, click spectral waves. In the first frame we don't see any animation, any waves. We need to go to the first frame, to the second frame. So if we play, we see our ocean animated. By default it doesn't have any texture, so we might create a texture, for example Just right click on our plane. Polygon plane is hidden. Instead we have our boss output plane with our waves. So we just right click with our mouse and we will assign new material and choose Maya surface ocean shader. Okay, so now we have our ocean shader. If we render, let's just switch. Later we will render in our Arnold, but for now we will render in Maya software. So to see our result quickly, we will render in Maya software renderer. So Maya software. So you need to choose this icon, display render settings, and choose Maya software renderer, and then render current frame. So now we have our ocean. It's already animated, so we will see the sequence, and later we will animate our ocean, and we will render it animated. So now when we have our oceans created in Maya and Houdini, let's create cameras and render our oceans out. So in Maya we create a camera, create cameras, camera, okay, and let's go to panels and go to our camera view. So now we can see our ocean. The process of render is very simple. We go to the rendering set. Just let's remember, creating an ocean in Maya, you need to go to FX menu set. Because if you go to Houdini, you won't see your bus system tab. So then in effects you will see your bus system. Now we go to the rendering set, and before rendering out we need to specify first of all an image format. You may choose, for example, whatever. We might choose Maya EFF for the time being. You can choose JPEG depending on where you're going to edit your video, your sequence after rendering. So I'll choose Maya IFF. It's a native Maya format. And here you need to choose a frame range. I need to choose, so let's go to Maya software. Let's just choose perspective. We'll choose presets, our image size, HD 180, Full HD, Full HD, and we will choose camera 1. You need to choose camera 1 to render it out. Then we will need to specify the frame range. Here we will specify the frame range. So we'll choose name number extension, and start frame 1. So we have 400 frames. So we'll set 400 frames. Alright. And then after these settings, we'll go to render, go to batch render, batch render. You can choose a number of processors. I'll choose all the processors. Okay. So all right. So now when we have our oceans created, we will already render out our ocean in Maya. So let's render out this ocean in Houdini. Let's see render view before rendering our sequence. What we have? We don't have much light here, so we will add some light. Just press tab and start typing light and create light. Our light is positioned in the origin, so let's move it up. Let's make our intensity 100 or so, or 20, maybe even 100. Let's see it in render view. We don't still have much light, so we'll increase our exposure to probably maybe 8. Maybe 8 is too much. Let's see. It's like a storm ocean. It looks like a stormy ocean. We will render this ocean out. But before we'll create a camera. So let's create a camera. Start typing, press tab and start typing camera. Okay, if you go to our camera view, let's render our camera. So our camera is in the origin, so we won't have the same look, so we will transform our camera up. It takes a lot of computations and resources here in Houdini. So here we have our camera rendered out. It took much time. Now we need to go to out network, to the out network. So here we have mantra IPR node. And here we will set our camera. We already have our camera set. Go to rendering. Let's go to object, back to our camera. Let's go to the object network and select our camera. In the render tab, Camera render view. I think we need to go back to out. And here in the out network, we need to set our frame range here. Render frame range strictly. And go to images. Go to images. You can choose PNG, but we will set EXR, the default format, and we will render to disk. Start rendering to disk. It will take much time. We'll have 240 frames in total. It takes some while to render it out. We will skip the rendering process and go to the result. It took approximately 10 hours to render this sequence in full HD format.